Hi, this is a quick video on how to install the switch assembly for the cruise control on the 2019 and probably other years as well, KTM 790 Adventure R. I believe this should also work for the non-R or S or whatever we call it now as well. The switch of the stock motorcycle is right here, and the new one that I sourced from Europe is right here, and the software has already been enabled in the computer over here. So what I have to do is, this thing is already blinking at me to tell me that something's wrong with the cruise control. So there's a blinking cruise control light, yellow light. And what I have to do is I have to install this thing and then go through a kind of an up, down, star, fire, shoot sequence of these buttons in order to pair up the control with the software. So the instructions that I've seen so far on the interwebs say that getting the console off is perhaps the best way to get access to the cable for this doohickey, which I believe is right here. And that goes down under this assembly. But if I take these two screws and this screw off to disconnect it from this metal bar, and if I do the same thing to the other side, so twist this guy to these two screws right here and down below, and then of this bar, that should allow me to pull the console assembly forward and get access in particular to this cable that I just showed you. It comes from the switch, this big black assembly right underneath here. And that matches, by the way, the thickness of the cable that comes from the replacement switch. It would appear that in order to get to this screw here, that it is easiest to first take off this little gill. And that's done with one screw. Can you find my finger here? One screw here. There we go. And another one connecting to the bar back in here. These come off pretty easy. Nice. Looks like a T30, Torx 30. The last screw off, I've got the back side removed and I've got these two below removed, is I'm going to use my right hand to undo this screw and my left hand to position the whole front assembly. So I won't be able to record that. I don't have a tripod camera up, but shot showing that now that I've shimmied this thing up and over these bars, because they fit kind of tightly in here, so you have to sort of shimmy it up. You can see the cables beginning to expose themselves down below. They're all tied together with a real nice tight wire tie, so I'm going to shimmy it out some more and hopefully not disconnect everything, just the things that are connected to the old control. You can see I'm holding with one arm the light off to the side, or console, and then you can see all of these plugs exposed, including accessory 1 and accessory 2 back there. What I'm going to do, because they tend to be sort of stuffed up in amongst the wiring harnesses, I'm going to push them down to the bottom to where this lower access panel is, so that whenever I remove it, I'll have them available right there when I need. The bar and the main control unit, the head, to just hold the whole assembly there while I get into the wiring. The strategy here is to follow the wiring from the old switch and to follow the wiring along the same path with the new one, just kind of setting it here side by side, and then cut two big thick wire ties and fish out the old cable and to replace it with this one, plugging into all of the cables that it was plugged into. And if there are any extras, this one right here might be a candidate for this four-way. We'll cut the wire ties. Now if I gently wiggle the cable, the old switch assembly cable, you can see that there is one small connector and then there's a larger connector underneath. So I will pull both of those. You can now see the apparent difference between the existing one and the new one. The new one has this additional 4-pin that's going to plug in right up here. Everything else goes in the same spots. This guy's proving to be a bit of a struggle, so I think I have to get up underneath that clip and that clip. It's exactly the one that's supposed to go into, but you have to remove this terminator first. All the connectors connected and shoved back into their little homes. Now I just need to zip tie that up and start stuff in the console back onto that hub. So back together, and those screws all snugged up. It's the 3 on each side. And now I just need to use a Torx 25 to open this guy up, take this one off, and replace. I've got the switch installed. You can see I haven't put the gills back on yet, and I haven't tied all the wires together yet because I don't want to get too far into this and jinx myself in case I've done something wrong. So turning the bike on, making sure she's in neutral, and you see the flashing speed control, cruise control light. And so now what I'm supposed to do is, after it's on, I go left for 3, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3, and then rotate this forward, and then key off. Now let's see if that does it. Turn it back on, and do we get the flashy light? We are not getting a flashy cruise control light. So I think we did it. All in all, for me, it was about an hour job, but you could do this more quickly in about half an hour if you actually know what you're doing.